I was really hoping you were going to ask that question that who inspires you? Because I was like, we have got to talk about the queen, like Dolly Parton. I went online a little bit earlier this morning and kind of did a little Googling on International Women's Day, uh, just because I'm nosy like that. And I kind of wanted to see on their website what it was. And they have a challenge this year, like a hashtag, I guess, that says choose to challenge. And I guess that's their theme for this year, is trying to get women to challenge back about, the myths that surround women, kind of who we are and what we're capable of, and kind of what our place in society is, and to push back on those norms and those preconceived notions about who we are and what we can do. Um, so I thought that was really interesting and kind of gave me perspective around it. It's a day to recognize how far we've come, and then also let us kind of regroup and realize how far we still have to go to achieve full equality, but still making sure that we recognize the achievements we've had so far.
International Women's Day is basically about women's emancipation, especially in the third world countries as well, who go through so much of stigmas and so much of taboos. I come from one of them, so there's so much taboos going on. It is definitely a day to look back on the achievements on how far we have come, to break all of them, being united and make new rules so that we can step a foot ahead and be represented as equal as men. So yeah, it is nice that we celebrate at least one day for that.
We're celebrating our advances. I think I have 30 years and probably have the most years of experience of the group here on the phone. And I look back and I think about times when I was actually sitting in a conference room with only woman manager that was there, or going on a business trip, and many times was the only woman, which was, very strange when you're going out to dinner and things like that. And now I work at NISC with an amazing group of women managers. So we really have come quite far since I started 30 years ago, and I'm really glad to celebrate that on International Women's Day.
For me, it's definitely a day of strength. I think about women across the world, and strength is what comes to mind. This year, thinking about the women that are our frontline workers, I'm thinking about the women doctors, the women nurses. They're rocking it this year, and I can't imagine what they're going through. And so I feel like for me this year, this Women's Day is definitely about those frontline workers. And also, yes, we have a long way to go though for women. And the other day I was looking at a list of the top 100 CEOs. And I think there was just a very small number of women, just under 10 out of this 100 CEOs. And I thought, well, yeah, we've got a long ways to go. And but so we need to celebrate our strength and keep going, definitely.
It's funny what Linda said about being the only woman in the room. Starting my career almost 20 years ago in the utility industry, I was child, just 19, and I remember so many times being alone in there, because I come from engineering and operations. It's a department I've always been in, and it is just so heavily male dominated. You walk in the room sometimes and you look around and you're like, where are the other women? Why am I in this group? And you have so much you feel like you have to fight against just to be heard. Just to feel like other people believe you have a voice there. So to come from there 20 years ago, where being here now at NISC and still working on the E&O projects, we have a female product manager in E&O. We have women that work on the development teams and on the UX teams. It feels so nice being able to go into those meetings, whether it's on Teams, where it's video call, or when we're in the office and we're in the room, and feel like you're not alone anymore.
When I was doing my undergraduate, actually, so I have my bachelor's in civil engineering. So we were a batch of 100 students, and out of 100, we were just 25 females. And a lot of times men used to ask, the guys in our class used to be like, why you're doing this? Isn't like isn't it supposed to be a men thing to do civil engineering? I'm like, there's so many different fields in civil engineering too. Look, I am the only one from my class who pursued GIS after civil engineering is not all about just construction work. I mean, there's so much different things you can do out of it, and I did GIS, and that is a part of civil as well. So yeah, it's just very odd that people have such judgments being in the 21st century still.
I'm actually surprised to hear that, because when I was back getting my master's, there were only five of us graduated from Carnegie Mellon, and all the guys would say, "Why are you doing this? You know, you have a child at home," and things like that. And I am truly surprised that you're still hearing that same type of banter today. And as Tracy said, we have a ways to go. Yeah, I've actually been virtual probably all but maybe 2 years of my whole career. So from that standpoint, there was not a change. But along with the virtual, I traveled about 50% of the time, either to industry conferences or to prospects for demos or meetings. And that is what I'm not doing anymore. So I'm not balancing the being at my desk with being out there. I miss people. I miss relationships. I miss talking to them about their kids or their business, or sitting next to someone and having a meal. I really, really miss that. And that, being just a desk person is not who I am. So it's been a transition, but in a different way than others. So
I know I'm a people person too, and it's just so sad that I've been starting to work through virtual. I was like, oh.
I'm not a people person. No, I am. I'm a people person. And I have to say that, working from home I've enjoyed it, and I actually am really loving it, and I'm grateful that we get to do it. But I cannot wait till I can go into the office and actually hug my team. I can't wait to do that, because I love my team so much. I really miss them. I mean, yes, we can communicate via Microsoft Teams and everything, but I miss that person-to-person contact, definitely.
I'm actually for real not a people person. Not that I don't love all of you, I do, but I'm very much an introvert, and kind of it's probably why I'm in the job I am, doing the application analysis and writing the requirements. It's so much research. We have to talk to our stakeholders, and we have to kind of dig that information out. But working from home has kind of let me go into that analytical zone and just break down the data. And I worked from home for about 1.5 years before I joined NISC, so it's not too big of an adjustment for me. But yeah, actually kind of having a quiet space to tune out just the noise of the office has actually been something I kind of like.
We were talking about like this past year and the pandemic and everything. This has been actually one of the craziest years. I mean, I know for everybody, but I gave birth to my third daughter this past year, and that was an experience. I can't even tell you how interesting it was to be giving birth in the hospital this last year. This was in July, and my brother and sister-in-law had their baby the same day that I did, and they were right down the hall from me in the hospital. But yet, because of the pandemic, because of COVID, we couldn't see each other. We couldn't go meet each other's babies. We couldn't talk to each other, and which I understand, but that was really like sad for me to not be able to go down there. The babies are doing great now. Everybody's fine, and I'm grateful that we have a healthy families, but what an experience to go to all of my doctor's appointments alone, and I could only have one person in the delivery room with me. Talk about a roller coaster of a year. But again, grateful for the opportunity to still be employed with NISC and be able to work from home, and to have that stability has been just everything to me.
That's why I enjoyed my whole career working at home. I had 2 sons, and they could walk out of the front door and get on the bus at our house, and yet I could work and be productive and successful. So it does give you a balance that you don't get in the office. You miss people, but it also gives you a certain balance that lets you do both of these things, be a good mom and a good worker. So
I know, I'm so thankful to NIC too. It was such a crazy time. I mean, I came to US in 2018 to do my master's. I was supposed to graduate. I graduated in May 2020. So like we were just done with our spring break in like March, and then we were preparing to like start applying for jobs and everything. And then we get this news that, oh, it's going to be a lockdown. So I was actually living in graduate housing, and because universities also closed down, we all were like told to move out. And most of my friends went to live with their own families, but like I had no one in US, so like I had to immediately find a new place in like 10 days, and then I moved all my things out over there. And then we started hearing things about people getting laid off, and we just started applying for our jobs, and then we hear that everyone's getting laid off and stuff like that. And it was just such a scary thing. I mean, like I have my own loans and everything, and I like even now thinking about it, I have like goosebumps, like the stress I went through that time. But then I really got lucky, and like all the hard work I put into it, by May I had like 3 offers. After I graduated, the day I graduated, after a week I got an offer from NISC, and I joined them.
I think my biggest challenge with all of it is I was on E&O product before, and then in January 2020, I moved from E&O product over to the user experience team. Moved my desk over and was just starting to get to know this new team and my new manager and a new role, and then all of a sudden we're sent home. And I had worked with them in the past because all of our departments kind of work so collaboratively already anyway, but there's just a different dynamic when you're changing from being part of one team to being part of another. So to only have like a couple of weeks and all of a sudden be thrown at home and kind of have like all these new processes and team members, that was a little bit of a challenge. But the user experience team is such an outgoing group of people that me even being as introverted as I am, they kind of pulled me in and out of my shell and made everything really comfortable.
I know, I was the first one from my team, I think, who was hired virtually. So like everyone else had like in-person training, and this was the first time they were trying to do it virtually. So it was a challenge for them as well, and me as well.
Probably my dogs. I have 2 of them. I have a Chihuahua Beagle mix, and then we also have a Chihuahua. And being kind of an introvert, like I said, I don't really mind being kind of a homebody. So having to follow the stay-home orders wasn't too big of a challenge for me. But it was really nice feeling like I had more time during the day to kind of get up out of my desk and go outside when it wasn't winter and take them on longer walks. And we've worked on some training exercises and some tricks. I also tried to pick up crocheting. So I bought yarn and I bought some like crochet hooks, and it's kind of a mess and I don't know what I'm doing, but it's given me time to kind of explore some new hobbies. I can't really say that I'm good at any of them, but it has been a year that's kind of pushed me to be a little more open to experimenting with new stuff. And it's been fun to kind of have that time.
No, I was just gonna say, am I the only person that thought of food? I like right away I went to pizza brings me joy.
Pizza
having
brings
a
joy
dinner.
to everyone.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I was going to say, I really was able, not traveling this year, to exercise consistently, which I couldn't do before. I joined a boot camp and I walked and tried to go out and walk for an hour every day. But before, I often didn't stop, have lunch, do anything. And with being at home and not being on the road, I just felt like I could finally find a rhythm of exercising. And I hope to continue that even when I am back on the road.
I sketch a lot, which I stopped when I was like in school, like undergrad, I stopped. So I started doing that. And in my house, all the walls are just filled with my sketches as paintings right now.
That's kind of fun though. What do you sketch?
Anything and everything. So that's like a brain and a heart over there.
Oh, wow.
It's like half. So things like that. So just whatever comes to my mind at that time.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I don't get to binge watch anything and I don't have time to exercise. I just run after my kids. That's all I get to do.
That's an exercise itself.
Yes.
How old are your
yeah.
children, Tracy?
So I have 3 little girls under 5, which is
Oh, wow.
insane. And
So we know what
yes,
you're busy with.
right. Yep, 3 little girls and they're wonderful and they're the light of my life. I'm just, trying to keep my head above water.
The biggest thing for me is just for people to realize that women are capable of doing hard things. I feel like sometimes people feel like they have to coddle women or be gentle or pick a word choice that's maybe friendlier or kinder. And we don't need that. We don't need to be treated with kids' gloves. We don't need to be coddled. We're not going to break if you put something difficult or hard on us. We're capable of achieving hard things. And I wish that there was more trust in us to rise to the occasion and really show how strong and how capable we are.
Now, I think this past year, women have been superheroes. I mean, the moms with school-age kids, they closed and they opened, and the technology changed, the teachers changed, the nurses, I think, and some of the health workers that some folks mentioned earlier. So I think this year, women did shine, and they did show their resilience, their flexibility, their creativity, and I think watch out in the world because we're going to see that reflected in the job force in the future just because we've had to be strong this year and stronger than before. So
I agree. I feel like personally that the fact that, we are trained in the home atmosphere as well. I feel like women do make good managers. We don't, I have seen that they don't get enough opportunities, but given a chance, I feel like they can be reflected as better managers because of all the things they have to tackle and their commitment to their family and the duties at work and how to balance it. I feel like they can definitely manage people well, and like people should know that women are never subordinate to men in any way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amen to that. And the strength that I see on my team at NISC, the women on my team, the way they multitask, the way they handle whatever comes at them, the workload, managing their families, it's inspiring and it inspires me. And of course, my mother, my grandmother, yes, they're amazing what they have done in their lives. I mean, that influences me as well. But especially, like we said, this year, everything that's happened, the way we've taken on our children working from, or doing school from home and us working from home, and all of the changes that have happened, we've handled it like superheroes, like Linda said. And it's, and our children are watching this and they're observing this. And I think that women are continuing to show the world how amazingly strong and how they multitask and how they are just continuing to reach that goal of equality. And we say equality, yes, we've said that before, but it needs to be said again. Equality is on. We're on the way. We're not there yet, but we're on our way. And this year has shown that.
I love the superhero references you guys are making because I'm kind of a sucker for them. You probably can't see on the shelf behind me, but I've got Captain America kind of sitting over there. But it's been fun that lately, like in Hollywood and in film, we've seen like Wonder Woman, we've seen Captain Marvel, we've seen Scarlet Witch is on Disney Plus now with like her series. So it's nice to see that they're promoting like women more as the leads in these like big heroic films, and then making references to like all the frontline workers now and all of the essential workers now, and even like the women here at NISC, to really show how strong and how capable they are, and they don't need some kind of a male figure to share the lead with them. They can do it on their own. They're capable of leading and being the shining star and showing that like women can get it done. We just need to be trusted to do it.
And I think sometimes I've noticed through my career too, is sometimes women are more hesitant than men to step out and do it. But what I encourage people to do, just step out. It will be uncomfortable. It won't feel right at first, but we can do it. You just really have to kind of keep stepping into the uncomfortable zone, and you really challenge yourself, and it helps us grow as women.
You gotta take up space and don't apologize for doing so.